No. I made Heather laugh before going live. Sorry. Should I say what I said?
Hi, everybody. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I had a full weekend. Again.
Yeah, you did. You had a very full weekend.
It's been a crazy time.
Oh my gosh.
How was your weekend?
It was good. Still getting stuff out. I was getting stuff out up through Saturday from my sale with Cindy. And I did a little bit of video on Saturday. So that always takes a long time when I'm trying to, go around and film when I'm shopping and stuff like that. So then before you knew it, I was at Oh no, I talked to you.
Oh yeah.
Saturday was busy, but it was mostly just like, shopping, talking to Angela, watching Pamela Blanchard, and it filled my whole night.
Yeah. Heather got a sneak peek of my haul.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Tammy.
Tammy! Oh my God.
She's awake.
Tammy!
My friends just got home from Italy.
I'm so glad. I'm so happy. I am just in a weird mood, but I'm so shocked to see you here. Wow. Hi. Oh, Tammy.
So, yeah, so this weekend, let me explain this estate sale because
okay. Explain.
It was for a woman named Margaret Headley, and she used to run a business called Antiques Walk. She would buy auctions and estates and then sell them as tag sales. But she held on to things as we do when we love antiques. Mm-hmm. But she passed last year. So her family tried to decide how best to, let her belongings go. And they were going to do an auction and they were going to do some other things. But they decided, they should just do what she did. So they had a tag sale. So it was an estate tag sale. And they had done one. She had 20, I think they said, storage units.
Oh my God. On her property or just like she was paying?
I don't know where they were, but they were full of things. And so this was the second or third one. Like I had missed the others for some reason. And this was the last one. Next weekend, there will be a dollar sale. Oh my God. I will be going back. And I will be waking up extremely early to get there as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because there were so many amazing things. And I bought many, many things. And so someday this week, I'm going to go live and do a haul because...
Yeah. I do have a question. Of all the pictures, Catherine, of all the pictures you showed me, it was like all awesome stuff. Home decor, home decor. But you didn't show me any like ephemera type things. And she would have had that, but that was at another sale.
No, so there was a bin of postcards, but usually people were always looking through them. So I never. Because I have 13 binders of postcards.
I know.
I don't need any more.
But if she was like us, I was just thinking, imagine like beyond just postcards. Imagine the photographs she could have had. Like,
there were 10 types. There were cabinet cards. There were, again, those are one of those things that when I go back to the dollar sale, I will be.
Yes, you better.
I can just.
When you were, I have found, because that's how all of my Art Deco stuff was at a very similar situation. It was someone who she didn't run an estate sale, but I'm sure must have had an antique booth. back in the 70s and 80s. And so she had a lot of awesome Art Deco things.
Yeah.
She had held on to for all that time.
But she had a lot of Victorian things. She had a lot of porcelain. There was an entire Limoges set, which I did not buy. So they had like a 60-piece set for a set price. And then all the serving pieces were separate. If it had been all together,
yeah,
I'd have bought it because it was so pretty. It was so pretty. But so I'm gonna go live. I think what day works for you? Wednesday, maybe?
Sure. What time?
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
All right. How about Wednesday?
I'm gonna do a live haul, and it was a haul, y'all. I went 3 times because I went the first day when everything was regular price. So this is how they did it. The first day is regular price. The second day, the prices drop throughout the day. So when it opens on the second day, everything's 25% off. So we went before breakfast on Sunday, and I got a few things that I had to have. In addition to what I bought full price the first day, because there were things I had to have, and I didn't want to risk losing them. And then at 1 o'clock, it dropped to 50% off. I did not go back then because I was like, no, I'm going to hold off until 4 p.m., which is when it dropped to 75% off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I went back and did some damage.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to show you. Heather has seen some of the things I bought on the first day. So
it was a great sale. I mean,
it was amazing.
I completely endorse you losing self-control a little bit because I don't get those kind of sales very often. So if you have a house full of it, that's when you get it. You have to buy it because then you're going to regret 3 months from now when you haven't been to any sale that had any Victorian or anything.
Well, I don't get to go to estate sales around here. They don't happen very often. Exactly. Or they happen during the week when I'm working. Yeah. So by the time the weekend comes, there's nothing left for me. So this was a very just wait till Wednesday, y'all. I am bringing one thing to show you that I got for myself. And I even bought some stuff, that I may sell. May, it's capital M. But one
you should do a pile, and then you could do a haul and a sale on the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Nancy. All right, but we should get started because I'm very excited for the history highlight. It came out of left field for me. It was actually something I saw on your sale. Yes, Tammy, this was the place with the bed. And I'm not going to say anything about the bed until Wednesday. So you'll have to stay tuned. But on your sale with Catherine,
yes,
she had this Jenny Lind plate. And I had been wanting to do Jenny Lind for a while because I have another thing that was Jenny Lind. And so I was like, oh, let's just dive into her. So that's the history highlight coming soon. But we need to dig into everything else first.
Okay, let's dig into everything else. I want to say hi to Michelle. Hello, Anne.
And Kathy's here too.
Kathy. I said hi to Kathy. I don't know if she heard me because I was talking fast, but
we're starting with Rustic Reborn.
Oh, my Rustic Reborn.
And I really like this.
Is it? It's interesting. I don't know if this is something I would buy, but I thought it was interesting to share. It definitely has a look. I thought it worked well. I just don't, it's not quite, actually maybe in the right room. If I had, which I'm not going to have a full Alice in Wonderland room, but if I had an Alice in Wonderland room, this would be an interesting light fixture to put into it. Because of the door, the doorknob.
I think it would even be cool as a hanging fixture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like in a secret garden bathroom.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Kind of fun though.
And these are more.
This is just
they're wine stops.
It's basically it was a glass doorknob, rustic reborn rabbit hole where I just
I like them as little bud faces.
Yeah, I did too. Actually, I thought, wow, why not just tip it over and put a little flower in there? It's cute.
I also have rustic reborn.
You have a rustic reborn today too?
I have two, actually. Well, somebody showed these. So we see shadow boxes of different types, but I like this idea of taking old frames, especially like that convex glass one.
Yes.
For all your tiny littles.
Yeah.
We got some red, velvet in the background. And then there are like Victorian calling cards in there. There's some miniatures. There's some little like penny dolls and little penny point purses. I just thought this was really cute. I was like, I might need to do this because I'm pretty sure I haven't even put my tiny things shelf together yet. And I guarantee it's full already.
Yeah. This is what I want to do. And I think the last video I mentioned where I want to do a shadow box with just little needlepoint purses, but I don't have enough to do it with yet. I have to find them to do it, but this is what I want to do with just this size. Just like both of these have a small needlepoint purse.
Yeah.
And I only have one.
I have a frame with arched glass that I've had for a while. And I haven't wanted to take the art out of it because it was like somebody's drawing of 3 kids.
Oh.
But if I have enough little things, it might have to happen. All right. And then the other rustic reborn, I chose to segue into my titillating tablescape.
Oh my gosh. Did you see my titillating tablescape?
No.
Oh my gosh. Just wait.
Okay. But the person who put these together, they did it as favors. So instead of just having, giving them their teacup that they drank out of, they also put a flower in it. I think this would be adorable, like if you're doing a Mother's Day brunch.
Yes.
Or even for Easter. And, guys can like flowers too.
Absolutely.
I also think it would be
funny. For the husbands, you should have those cactuses.
or a Venus flytrap.
Or a Venus flytrap.
This would be cool if you found some, I don't know, do they make creepy teacups? But you could do that for Halloween with some carnivorous plants.
You could. We should. Okay, so that's what we're all going to be looking for. Let's all look for haunted teacups so we can put little Venus flytraps, and then we'll have a haunted tea party.
Yeah. New cup, move down. But this was my titillating tablescape. It was I was just feeling spring. And I don't come across purple a lot in tablescapes. And so I really like this. The different, and they mix matched all the china. So it's different purple china. I love the polka dots that they've added in here.
Ooh, gorgeous.
They've got, the candle wick. Is that the candle wick chargers? And then, some doilies in between.
Okay.
I just thought it was cute. And I like the little frame where they put the name.
I like that with the doily on top of a charger.
That's cool. It just gives it another texture.
Yeah, I like it.
And I like those purple goblets. I don't find purple all that often. Pretty. Oh! Funny. Yours has a nest in it.
Mine is a nest, but still, it's pretty much the same thing. I liked it because it was a very scraggly brown nest. I think I've been seeing when I was looking for tablescapes and things, I've seen a lot of
I almost did another table that had an egg on a plate, but it was wrapped.
Oh, cute.
With a bunny.
Cute. I've been seeing a lot of, because for spring, as we want green, so a lot of green, a lot of moss. but this was brown, scraggly nest. And I liked it. I liked it with the blue willow, the chinoiserie.
And the milk
So I thought,
glass.
and I did like the milk glass. The table setting was fairly simple, but I really I picked this picture because of the blue willow.
There's something about that pink, like gingham napkin that just makes it springy. I like
it. But sticking stuff in teacups is going to be the theme for tablescapes this week.
Well, and the thing is, with those eggs, if you colored eggs, you could also, put people's names on it, and then your egg is your place card.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, love it.
I'm full of good ideas today.
You are full of good ideas.
So I have 2 media musts. I know you don't have one.
I don't.
I watched this movie finally, and it just made me so happy. It was just a happy movie. It was so adorable. The clothing in it was, of course, amazing. If you don't know about, well, this is a remake. There was a Mrs. Eris Goes to Paris with Angela Lansbury back.
Oh, really?
In the 60s, I want to say 60s, 70s. But this one is adorable, and the face of Dior in this one is Alba from Warrior Nun.
I don't know the story. So obviously she goes to Dior fashion house.
She sees a Dior gown. She's a cleaner. She sees a Dior gown at one of the places she cleans at and is enamored. And she decides she's gonna save up and buy herself a Dior gown.
Okay.
So it's about all that. Plus Jason Isaacs is in it.
Jason Isaacs is
Lucius Malfoy from the Harry Potter movies.
Oh, okay.
But he does not play a bad guy. So
good for him.
Yeah. It's super cute. I recommend it. I will watch it again because it's just one of those movies like you know how sometimes like you're watching a feel good movie and then something absolutely horrible happens and you're just like, oh. Yeah. Like I'm not going to say no bad things happen, but it's still a feel good movie. Yes. Like even when bad stuff happens, it's not a big deal. It just
I like a good feel good movie.
It's a feel good movie for sure. And then my second media must, which I can't believe I didn't know about this.
Look at that. Look at that portrait right there.
So there's only 6 episodes. It's from 2018. It was on the BBC. I watched it on Prime. It might be available on other things, but there's only 6 episodes. And in each episode, she takes a piece of art, takes it to clothing historians. Well, she's a dress historian. He's very similar to the YouTube people I follow. She takes it to like master wardrobe crafts people.
Yes.
And they recreate it.
That's awesome.
Like, in period ways. And so they talked about the chemise à la reine. And the scandal that went with it.
Scandalous.
So that's the one I had to highlight. But
yes, I'm so glad you did.
So she even did like armor for one, but they make the outfits to fit her. So and then she puts them on and she talks about the way like it feels to wear those things. Yes. And it was very interesting. But her name's Amber Bouchard. It sounds like butcher, but it's not butcher. It's Bouchard. And she's a dress historian, but she also does like forensics with clothing and stuff. She's a very learned individual. So that's my second media must for the week.
And we have naked cupies.
No clothes at all.
None. The photos. I had to. Look at the photos.
Y'all don't just leave your collections in a shelf. You have photo shoots with them.
Exactly. Take them to the
They
beach.
also deserve a day at the beach.
Yep, just a wagon full of naked Cupid dolls. Why not?
Why not? And then, so my collection, I happened upon these, and these are working collections. So, Teletubbies.
Tammy said, Teletubbies.
But these are hat forms, mainly for the making of like Western style hats. And I forget. But you can find them, about it. It's just I thought they just had a great look to them, like reminiscent of like the shoe forms. I think they could add an interesting level to displays, and things like that. But yeah, so you would form leather or other things around them to make the hats.
I like the fedora ones with the divots.
Yeah,
those are cool.
Very cool. So very short collection for me.
Oh, and I forgot I did this. So for my next celebrating collections, I want all of you to make sure you go over to Michelle's channel. She's here in the chat. Her YouTube channel is Pummel's Vintiquities, and her latest video was an awesome feature of her collection of mustard jar banks and also some syrup glass jars. She has an extensive collection. She talks all about it, and you get to see her put it up all on this awesome shelf. So that's what I want you guys to do. If you have not seen this video, go watch it and make sure you're subscribed to her channel.
I'll have to check it out.
Definitely, you should.
I have to put it in the chat. Okay, so this is not anybody's house. So I was still on the tea party theme, and I was like, "Ooh, what about like a tea parlor or a tea house?" And I just really like this idea. So this is I think this is in Australia.
Laura's here.
And the but all of their locations have this magnet wall, and those are all containers of tea.
Oh, really?
But on the containers are pictures looking down on a cup and saucer.
Okay, right, like an overhead view.
But see all the different china patterns. At first, I thought this was cups and saucers hanging on a wall. And then I was like, wait, how? There's liquid in there. No, it's pictures on tins. But I just really like the idea because I've always liked the thought of, those magnet spice walls,
Yes.
But it's similar, but this is all various kinds of tea.
That's awesome. I mean, you could do some fun stuff with those little, I know you can get those little silver tins at the Container Store, and you could put all sorts of photos in there. Overhead.
Like you could use this as organization, like in your craft room, just put a picture or a graphic that tells you what's in there without like physically saying like, hey, there's blue beads in here. You can just a really pretty blue bead.
Yeah.
Obviously. Something like that. I just like the idea. So that was my inspiring interior.
I like it. So this inspiring interior, the reason I brought this one up is because this is the color. Remember I was telling you that I was thinking or considering painting my wall paneling green?
Yeah.
This is the inspiration photo. This is the one where I was like, this is the green that I would want to put in the den. But I'm afraid that if I paint all of that 70s paneling, I'm going to regret it. And then what do? You can't.
Well, how much surface area are we talking?
Like a whole half a whole 3/4 of the room, basically. It's a lot. That's why the room is so dark. I mean, I don't do a lot of filming down there because it's such a dark room. But I thought, guys, this is the grain that I want to do.
I mean, but think about it. Could it be that much worse than 70s paneling?
But here's the thing. I like brown, so I'm afraid to go the green and then be like, oh my God, I missed my brown. Does that make sense?
Well, you could paint it green, and then if you hate the green, you could paint it brown. Oh, yes. Thanks, Kathy.
Yes, I guess I could. I don't know.
But, well, it's something to think about, but this is a lovely photo.
Yeah, but just a traditional room, like the perfect traditional room.
But my favorite thing is that the corner bookshelf.
Yeah, I like those too. It's good.
Yeah, you could hang fabric to break up the collar.
I know, but
just some tapestries.
But here's the thing: is like I've got an old mid-century house that's got like these huge, what do you call them? Vents. Like my heat. I don't have floor vents. I have all those
air returns.
Yeah, the big that the heat comes out of them, and they're stuck all along the walls here. They're like a big long metal tube vent all across the wall, and it's not attractive.
I'd have to see it. We could come up with a plan. I guarantee.
Yeah. Ooh. And this was some shabby French inspiring interiors where, again, I was looking at awesome chairs with slip covers. So, and I really thought the Crocs on the table. Granted, that takes up a lot of space, but you could always move them for the meal.
You could have a big table, though.
You keep them on the table until you have to have the meal, then remove them, and then after the meal, put them back.
I see a really tasty-looking loaf of bread.
Yes.
Yeah.
I doubt it's gluten-free, though.
Definitely not gluten-free. I can tell by the crust. It looks appetizing, therefore.
Yes. And I know I have brought banquettes before, but
this one is amazing.
Special banquet. I have never seen a banquet that looked in the French provincial style. It was curved. It had hand painting on it. So I had to share another banquet. Yeah.
You know, if you paint your paneling green, that would be the perfect backdrop for an empty frame wall.
I have no room. My walls are all taken.
In the paneling room?
In the paneling room.
Oh.
I can take you down there and prove it to you.
Okay.
I've got mirrors. I've got art. There's no room.
Well, then it wouldn't be that much green showing.
I guess. I don't know. I'm scared.
Well, when I come to visit, we'll plan it. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Tonight's history highlight is about the Swedish Nightingale, which was the nickname for Miss Johanna Maria Jenny Lind. She was born October 6th of 1820. She was the daughter of scandal. Her parents were not wed when she was conceived. Her mother had divorced her first husband because he cheated on her. And then she fell in love. Her mother was a school teacher. Her mother fell in love with this Mr. Lind. He was a bookkeeper. But because of her faith, she refused to marry again until her first husband died. So she did marry Jenny's father, but not until Jenny was 14.
Interesting.
So, yeah. But at the age of 9, one of the maids of Mademoiselle Lundberg, who was a principal dancer of the Royal Swedish Opera, heard Jenny singing one day and was astounded by her voice. And so she told her boss, it's like, listen, this girl can sing. Let's get her some training. Her voice is just unbelievable. So they got her into the Royal Dramatic Theater. She studied with Carl Magnus Raelius. He was the singing master with the Royal Dramatic Academy. And then she began performing on stage at the age of 10. And she was singing regularly for about 2 years, and then something happened. They call it a vocal crisis. Don't know what that means exactly, but she had to take time off at the age of 12. She went back, and she had her first major role in 1838 as Agatha in Weber's Der Frühschütz with the Royal Swedish Opera. If I said that incorrectly, I apologize to Germanic speakers. 2 years later, she took another break because she almost lost her voice. She was singing so much. Mm-hmm. She went and started training with a man named Manuel Garcia, who worked in Paris. He was a voice trainer. He used the first person to use a laryngoscope. Don't know exactly what that is, but I imagine it looks at the larynx.
Yes.
By the name. Mm-hmm. But he retaught her how to use her voice without killing herself, basically, so that she could continue to sing. While she was in Paris, she was heard by a composer. He was like, you need to go try out for the Paris Opera. And so in 1842, she auditioned for the Paris Opera. She was rejected. Mm-hmm. And keep that in mind. Okay. Remind me later. There's a tidbit about that. Okay. But she returned back to Denmark and joined the Royal Swedish Opera again. They toured Sweden. Then they toured Denmark. And from 1844 to 1849, she was a hit. She performed in Germany, Austria, England. You know where she did not perform?
America?
Paris.
Oh.
She refused.
You said, no, you guys pissed me off.
But she the Austrian imperial family she performed for, the German royal family. Queen Victoria attended her very first show and every single show she did after that. Wow. She had 16 shows in London and Queen Victoria attended all of them. Wow. So she was the toast of society. At the age of 29, she retired from opera. She was like, this is killing my voice, because she was a soprano. So if you've sung at all, like those upper registers, they can really put a strain on your vocal cords. And so she's like, done with opera, but I'm going to continue to sing. We got to talk about the people who loved her.
Okay.
She had lots of famous admirers. Well, and when you think about opera, and like this is like the heyday of opera, like she
is going to the movies.
She was singing Verdi, being led by Verdi. Like,
wow,
it was when opera was at its height. Robert Schumann was a huge fan of her. He composed things for her. Felix Mendelssohn is one of the composers who was tied most closely with her. There were rumors of a love affair there. He passed away, at an early age, and there were secret love letters between them that supposedly was burned upon her death. Chopin, one of the most well-known admirers of her was Hans Christian Andersen. And this is a quote, no book or personality whatever has exerted a more ennobling influence on me as a poet than Jenny Lind. For me, she opened the sanctuary of art. Wow. So those three fairy tales of his, Beneath the Pillar, The Angel, and the Nightingale, were all based on Jenny Lind.
Wow.
And he pursued her, and she rebuffed him. And then he wrote The Snow Queen, also based on her.
Wow.
Because she wasn't interested. She wasn't interested. But here we go. And he's the one that is given credit for calling her the Swedish Nightingale, because she was not, when you think of most like opera singers, they were risque, shall we say. You know, being an actor and opera singer was not looked upon as a proper profession. But she was pretty much the exact opposite. She wore plain collars. She did not wear makeup. She just let her voice do the talking, or the singing in this case. And then enter P.T. Barnum. So we know that she retired from opera singing in 1849. He was touring England with Tom Thumb around that time, and he heard about her. He never saw her perform, but he approached her because Barnum was trying to give himself a new image because he was known for, these sideshows, appealing to, the masses, but he himself enjoyed opera. He enjoyed lectures and things like that. And so he wanted to elevate his profile. And when he heard about her and the way she presented herself and the things she did, he was like, well, we get her to America, she'll make me look good. So he, right, The Greatest Showman. And just so you know, there was never, ever, ever anything romantic between Jenny Lind and P.T. Barnum. Despite what both The Greatest Showman and the P.T. Barnum musical would like you to believe, she was not a fan of this man because they were polar opposites. But he contracted with her for $1,000 per show, up to 150 performances. That's $150,000 for in their money. And we'll talk about what that means today. And so she agreed, and she headed to the U.S. aboard the Atlantic, which was a steamship. And she did perform for fellow passengers, I think, twice during the crossing. This is an image from the salon inside the Atlantic.
Beautiful.
When she landed, because Barnum was already talking it up. He had never seen her. He had never, heard her. So he put all his money. He mortgaged all of his businesses in order to pay her the money to come. And not only did he pay her, he paid for her pianist and arranger, her secretary, her companion, and her duet accompanist to come. And he paid for everything: room, board, travel, in addition to the $1,000 per show. He did not have enough money. He had to borrow an additional $5,000 from someone because the banks wouldn't give him any money to get her over. But he did, and it paid off. So this is a political cartoon because there were some naysayers because Barnum was trying to build up, fervor for when she came over. And it worked because she was met at the docks by 30,000 people in New York.
Wow.
30,000 people. Think the Beatles. This was this is I would consider her first, the first celebrity big thing to happen in the US. Or move over, Kardashians. Jenny Lind is here. So her first performance was held in Castle Garden, which was, if you look down in this aerial photograph, you see the round building at the tip of Manhattan. That was
Yes.
a fort. I think it was called Fort Clinton, if I remember correctly. And then from there, it became an entertainment venue. After entertainment venue, it was used for immigration.
Oh.
And then it was partially torn down in the 40s, I think. And then it was an aquarium. You can still see parts of it in Battery Park. This is located in Battery Park. But when she debuted, they sold tickets via auction. They averaged $250 per ticket. Which today is about $24,000.
$24,000.
Yeah.
For an evening with the Swedish Nightingale.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah. And so that was on September 11th. Now, she realized when she landed that obviously he was going to make a lot of money off of her. And she only agreed because she was going to give away all of the fee that he gave her. She was planning to donate to various charities.
Wow.
Which is part of the reason why he brought her over, because of her reputation and what she does with her money. And so on the 3rd, after landing on the 1st, she renegotiated her contract. In addition to the $1,000 per concert, he had to give her all of the concert's remaining profits after his $5,500 concert management fee.
Did he?
He did.
Wow.
Well, he knew that she was bringing in the dough. So, and she was also annoyed that most people would not be able to afford to see her. So after the first few, she required that a number of seats were reserved for $2.
Oh, okay.
And that some promenade tickets remained at $1. So she really did try to think beyond the money. And then she got tired of him. She had an out in the contract. She could choose at 60 shows or 100 shows. If she paid him a fee, they could part ways. And after 93 shows, she decided that I am done, because we all know Barnum, like the way he advertised it, the way he talked it up. It wasn't her style. So after 93 shows in June of 1851, she paid him the fee, and she decided, I'm done. But one of the last shows took place in Wheeling, West Virginia.
Oh, is that close to Morgantown?
It's about an hour from me.
Oh, wow.
And Wheeling is where a lot of glass companies are, including Fostoria. Just keep that in mind. So this is the church that she performed in Wheeling. It's no longer standing. There was a fire.
That's a shame.
But this is the lectern from which she sang in 1851. And then around 1852, she continued to tour when she parted ways with Barnum, but she did it in her own way. But he was good at what he did, so people weren't as flocking to her events as they were for his. She was still making plenty of money, however. One such concert was attended by a 20-year-old Emily Dickinson. And we have a record of what she felt at that concert. It says, how bouquets fell in showers, and the roof was rent with applause, how it thundered outside and inside with the thunder of God and men. Judge ye which was the loudest. How we all loved Jenny Lind, but not accustomed oft to her manner of singing, didn't fancy that so well as we did her. No doubt it was very fine, but take some notes from her echo. the bird sounds from the bird song, and some of her curious trills, and I'd rather have a Yankee. Herself and not her music was what we seemed to love. She had an air of exile in her mild blue eyes, and a something sweet and touching in her native accent which charms her many friends. As she sang, she grew so earnest she seemed half lost in song. She took $4,000 for tickets at Northampton, aside from all expenses. So, I just, like, placing her in amongst all these people was really interesting for me because, like, you know, I've heard of Jenny Lind or whatever, but, like, the context of the time.
Right. She had an effect on some major players. I mean, all those composers.
All those composers, Queen Victoria, Emily Dickinson, like, she was seen by so many. And so shortly after she left Barnum, her pianist took a job in England, and she invited a friend. Hey, Jeannie.
Hi, Jeannie.
Otto Goldschmidt, who she had known for many years, to replace the pianist. He was 9 years younger than her, and they got married.
Go Jay.
And there's some say that her popularity started dying down because Otto was Jewish, and he did convert for her. But that and the lack of Barnum, you know, she just wasn't pulling in the same numbers.
Right. She wasn't as much into the spectacle showmanship where
she just wanted to sing.
Yeah.
And she did expand, like, with Barnum, I think she went from New York down to Cuba. She also did stops herself in Canada and other parts of the U.S. that weren't on Barnum's tour. So she tried to expand it a bit. So all of her Barnum profits were donated to her main cause, which was free schools in Sweden for kids who couldn't afford other education. She contributed to a number of U.S. charities and causes. She paid. There's some interesting things about because this is 1850 U.S. What is approaching? The Civil War is approaching. So abolitionists tried to get her to speak to their cause, but she didn't want to get involved in anything political.
Yeah.
However, she did donate $100 at one point in time to free a family in D.C. She did. I think she gave it to Harriet Beecher Stowe, and then she made some comments about Uncle Tom's Cabin that put her on the side of abolitionists without her coming out and causing a ruckus, shall we say. But she donated $350,000, which in today's money, today's buying power, that's $13,499,230.77.
That's
93 concerts.
Wow.
Yeah. This dress is awesome. Like, it looks like macrame, doesn't it?
It does.
Which macrame was a Victorian pastime, so it's possible. It's possible. But she did give her last concert in New York at the Castle Garden in May of 1852. And then her then husband, which she was referred to then as Jenny Lind Goldschmidt, hyphenated, and they lived happily ever after. They had kids, and she continued just to do. She never sang opera again, but she continued to do small concerts like she did in the U.S. Oh yeah. So we have to talk about Lindmania.
Okay.
Which is what brings us here tonight. So it took, like, if you could put Jenny Lind on it, they put Jenny Lind on it.
Okay.
So for the 90s, he created this frenzy. And so this is when, like, merchandising, I think this is when it started. Because when I don't know of anybody before her who had, bonnets with her face on it, shawls, dresses, handkerchiefs, earrings, everything. So, yeah, chewing gum. But these beds here, these spool beds, they were popular at the same time, and they decided to name them Jenny Lind beds.
Yeah.
And they're still called Jenny Lind beds today.
I know.
because she was so popular, and they were like, hey, we're making these beds. Let's call them Jenny Lind beds. And they sold a crap ton of them.
That's still so funny.
Right?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, can you imagine buying a bed because it was called the Madonna bed in the 80s?
Yeah. And so here, these are things that you can buy currently on eBay, Etsy, whatever. So here are canceled checks from somebody in the late 1800s. The bank put Jenny Lind on them.
Oh my gosh.
Why not? I mean, I have Star Wars checks, so it's similar.
But I mean, think about it. They chose her, not the president.
No. Jenny Lind.
Jenny Lind.
The copper coin up in the right was like a souvenir from one of the Barnum shows that I'm sure you could buy. This type of trunk here is called a Jenny Lind trunk. She was given a trunk by a trunk maker in, I want to say it's either Connecticut or Ohio. I did not write it down. But it was gifted to her, and then he started selling them as Jenny Lind trunks. Yep. There's a Jenny Lind crib that's the same spool style.
Yeah.
She carried it on her thing, and she got married at the end of her tour, and it became her hope chest when she. Wow. So this, remember my last thing? This is called a Jenny Lind fan.
She had a fan.
Yeah. So this is also called a palmette, if you remember the types of fans, with those wide, almost feather-like things at the top. But this is now known as the Jenny Lind fan. And you can buy this one for pricey price. But it's got lovely carving and everything. It's a lovely,
beautiful
example. And this one is an 1800s one. So,
hey,
Nate. To the left, well, this is the Jenny Lind pattern.
Is Jenny Lind in this pattern? Is she in it?
No, I'm not 100% sure. I couldn't find a lot of information as to why they call this the Jenny Lind pattern.
Huh.
I do own some. What do you know? Let me remove this and make myself a big yaw. Oh. Or go over. Okay. So I have these, they're bone plates. But so there's a castle, and then there's a group of individuals, and I would assume, good night, Tammy, that maybe one of these is Jenny Lind.
Tammy, I'm so happy you were able to be here with us. Love you, girl. Good night.
On the back, you see Jenny Lind.
What do you know? There it is.
This was the first time I ever saw her name, was when I bought these, and I got them from Leanne, Crafty Kitty. Her mom had them. I don't, 1795, I guess that has to do with Staffordshire because she wasn't alive in 1795.
Yeah.
But as I'd love to find out why exactly it's Jenny Lind, but she toured all over Europe, so I'm guessing this is just one of her stops. So let's go back. But you can buy that whole set. Lovely transferware. $866.31.
Is that eBay? 31 cents?
I think that was on eBay, yeah. And then in the 50s, we had that Victorian revival in the 50s. Astoria in Wheeling, where Jenny Lind visited, made an entire line of Jenny Lind glass. It was mainly a milk glass of different colors. And then there's that amethyst. I forget what we call that color, but there's also painted, and these are all different colors, different price ranges. If you want a piece of Jenny Lind, you could find a piece of Fostoria in a pretty accessible price range. And that's very reminiscent of the plate I got from Miss Catherine. And that's what sparked this whole idea.
But look at the detail. The detail on that plate is awesome.
But they made see, her hair was never fancy, like, ever. So you notice in the 50s they dolled her up a little bit. But because she always had just very plain hair, because she just wanted the focus to be on their performance and not on her appearance. Because she said she had a nose like a potato.
Insecurities. We had them 100 years ago. We got them now.
What happens to the Swedish Nightingale, y'all? So, look at the money she made. So,
Mary Beth is here!
Oh, hey, Mary Beth. So that's the story of Jenny Lind, the Swedish Nightingale. So now I would love, I have it in the back of my mind. I'd love to find some ephemera or something with Jenny Lind on it.
I really like the
she was really, I mean, she was really smart. Like, she didn't give in to the Lothario composers that were all after her. She settled for someone who was, liked the same thing she did. And she didn't, she could have continued to, make bank with P.T. Barnum, but she did not agree with the way he was running things. And so she paid the fee and went her own way. So I love that she lived on her own terms. Yes. Here, I'll show you. We'll go back. Yeah, so the Jenny Lind bed.
Yeah.
Here, it's right here. Those spool beds were popular at the same time. And so mid 1800s. And so they pounced on that, and they're like, okay, these are Jenny Lind beds. And she probably did sleep in some at some point in time during her tour. And there you go. This is Jenny Lind. There's also a Jenny Lind crib, but it's all that spool
same style.
So, do you have any questions? Like, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover, but
I just think it's fascinating. It's fascinating how she was so, like you said, merchandised. Yeah. And not of her own willing. Like, everyone just took the, absolute.
Well, if there's nothing we learned from B&B
and her likeness,
we know that merchandising has always been a thing, and capitalizing on publicity has always been a thing. From Blue Willow to the fan language,
yes,
and now to Jenny Lind. But this is the first time, like, they've pulled a person and, like, capitalize on that likeness. Though that has always happened, like, with royalty,
True.
So
absolutely. I mean,
this is
definitely,
yeah,
with Victoria and her whole family.
But for, like, a celebrity, like, I feel like she's just one of the first, like, international celebrities.
Yes.
So that
I loved this.
Jenny Lind.
I loved learning about Jenny Lind.
And so, did you bring a favorite thing?
I did. I brought some things.
Let me make you big.
That I of course have been visiting with our friends on the YouTube, and I've gotten a couple things from our friends. So I picked up this cup from Pamela Blanchard, and I just thought
it's amazing,
fancy, and it was, it's pretty. And then on Jamie Mid-Century Wasted, I picked up this like 1930s set of doll furniture.
I have that sink is in my basement.
I know. That's what I thought was so cool about it, is that the kitchen, it looks like 1930s style kitchen appliances. And I just thought that was darling. And it came with the little pots and pans.
So cute.
So I got that from Jamie. And then from Miss Catherine Young, this just came today. I got this Venetian glass candle. Well, I think it's more like a vase. It could have been a candle holder too. But there's a little vial that would go in there. And I'm thinking I have another one like this to go inside of it because this one is broken. But amazing glass. Amazing. It's so cool. And I got this for a song on her Friday night sale before our sale with extras. So I also got the one that was broken because basically I was getting, like a twofer with this. Yeah. But I was thinking, how cool would it be to just play around with the leaves, harvest them, do something with them. Mm-hmm. But awesome. So some of my new favorite things.
So I'm just going to show one thing from the estate sale. And Heather hasn't even seen this.
Oh no.
Now, what is one thing from a recent history highlight I said I wanted to find?
A recent history highlight? Which highlight was it?
One that I did. It was an illegal something.
A hat pin? Wow. She's a big one.
She's over 9 inches. We have an illegal hat pin.
But
not only that. So look at this.
Beautiful.
But it doesn't in there. It has a date on it.
It's Edwardian?
It's from 1910.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's so awesome.
I would have gotten more hat pins. This is one that I got in the morning, so 25% off. But there was a jewelry room, and that's where everybody was. And so I was like, this is one that I bought. I was like, I'm not waiting. I saw that. I freaked out. I was like, that's mine. It's mine.
Yes.
Here in my 1910 house. Now I need a hat for my hat pin.
Yes, you do. You need a big Edwardian hat. And Michelle, a half doll on this is the perfect idea. I want to go get one right now to see how it looks, but it'll look just like a dress. It's perfect.
It would.
I love your brain, Michelle. I love it.
Perfect. So this is one of the favorite things I got at the estate sale. So if you want to see what else I bought, tune in to my channel either probably Wednesday. We're gonna say Wednesday. Heather's gonna hang out with me.
Okay.
And freak out with me. Because whoo, buddy. So
good times.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I
love it.
I wanted to go back because you remember you showed those rhinestone ones?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had 2 of those.
Oh, did they?
I wanted to go back and get them, but it was so packed. Maybe they'll still be there. They were on the floor. Like I didn't even see them until the second time I went. I'm not sure what time Wednesday. We have to plan.
She works, so it would definitely
I work during the day, so we'll be in the evening.
It would be evening, probably early evening, unless she wants to do a late nighter. I can figure out a way to stay up.
It's gonna take a while, so we can't start too late. So maybe 6. Eastern.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Sure.
It's 4 your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tentatively 6 Eastern, but I'll post the thing. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead, and we'll see you then. But thanks so much to everyone for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed learning something new about the Swedish Nightingale. And next week we will be on Heather Elizabeth's channel.
Yes, and we have a very special guest. It is going to be not our regular programming next Monday. We are going to have a guest. Patrick, the trusty huckster, is coming on our show, and we're going to be talking about trade cards. So it'll probably be the entire show. So we probably won't be doing some of our segments as usual. I'm planning on just setting aside the hour so we can talk about trade cards and then look at some of the pieces that he has brought. And I think Angela said she had some she might be able to share.
I just have to find where I put them.
Yeah, so it'll be a good time. So come visit me and Angela over on my channel next Monday.
With Patrick.
Yeah, with Patrick. So
I hope you all have a great week, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next Monday.
Bye, everybody.
Good night. Bye.